I'm Eric Chilton alongside Maddie Gardner, Lauren Coleman, Jalen Gilkey. Now Christian has the day off, but I will tell you he's here in spirit because every time I look at the weather computer, I can see the cursor moving. He's on it at home. He can't leave it alone.
If you're watching, stop working.
Yes, right.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Make sure you head on over to WFMY News 2's Facebook page during the show. You can chat with us there. We live stream the entire 4 to 5, and we'd love to hear what you have to say this afternoon.
Yeah, lots to talk about today because there is hope at the end of the pandemic here in North Carolina sooner than later, after Governor Cooper announced we could end the restrictions by June 1st. Now, it will all depend on how current metrics and vaccination efforts improve by then, but it would include all current mandates, including the mask mandate. Cooper says 2/3 of adults will need to be vaccinated with at least one shot to lift the mask mandate. In the announcement earlier today, Governor Cooper also mentioned a new executive order will be out next week to improve current restrictions.
2 triad events are happening tonight after the guilty verdict handed down to Derrick Chauvin yesterday. We are bringing you team coverage tonight in Greensboro and in Winston-Salem as our crews get ready for both marches to begin at 5 o'clock. We'll start with the WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty in Greensboro for the latest on tonight's event.
Well, starting right here at the International Civil Rights Center and Museum, people will gather at 5 p.m. to kick off a Black Lives Matter parade. Now, you might remember from the protests last year that this was a meeting point for hundreds, even sometimes thousands, after George Floyd's death at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer. They demanded justice, and I caught up with a protester who was out last year named Jordan Cameron, and she told me a little bit about what Derrick Chauvin's guilty verdict meant to her and her community.
It's good to celebrate the small victory. You know, we have so much work that needs to be done, but right now we're going to celebrate the moment. We have to show the judicial system, we have to show cops, we have to show people in higher positions that it's not a you got me. I don't know. You have to be held accountable for your actions.
Again, the event begins in just under an hour now, and we're going to be giving you live updates from here downtown.
And in Forsyth County, the community is also coming together to express themselves over the verdict. WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba joins us live from Winston-Salem ahead of the event.
That's right. Community members plan to rally here right off of MLK Jr. Drive in Winston-Salem at 5 o'clock. They're reacting to the verdict in the Derrick Chauvin trial for the murder of George Floyd last year. And triad law enforcement leaders, too, are also reacting and also talking about policy changes that they've made since then. And they are echoing some of the same sentiments, that this is about accountability, that citizens have the right to demand proper policing and protection without fear. Some changes they've made since last year include additional mental health and background checks for officers, re-emphasizing the importance of the body cameras working properly. Alamance County is also adding yellow tapes to stun guns, and later will switch to an all-yellow stun gun entirely. Now, Greensboro Police also added clinicians on mental health related calls, and Guilford County and Forsyth County Sheriff spoke to me earlier about what the verdict means for their deputies and the community.
If it had not been for the videos, I don't believe we would have got a guilty verdict. I just don't.
The world was watching, and so the world was trying to see what would America do, what would she do, how will she handle this? You know, will she live up to her creed? And we know that America's not always been right. We know that she ain't what she used to be. We know she ain't what she could be, but we know that she's going to be better than she used to be.
Another policy change for many of the law enforcement agencies is the duty to intervene, meaning that when an officer is on the scene with his fellow officers and one officer isn't following procedure, it is that officer's duty to intervene and also escalate the issue to superiors and report for further investigation.
We know that Derrick Chauvin will serve time in prison, but we won't know for how long just yet. His sentencing hearing is still several weeks away, but how will sentencing be decided? Evan Kozlov and the Verified team are covering that for us.
By now, you've heard the charges against Officer Chauvin, and so all eyes will now be on sentencing. Here on the Verify team, we want to make sure that we have the facts. Our sources are a pair of Minnesota legal experts, Rachel Moran and Rachel Polos, both from the University of St. Thomas. First, here are the max sentences: 40 years for second-degree murder, 25 years for third-degree murder, and 10 years for second-degree manslaughter. But our experts emphasize that these can't be stacked, meaning that the absolute max sentence is 40 years. But Minnesota law uses something called presumptive sentences, which sets a typical range of penalties for those with no prior convictions, in this case between 10.5 years and 15 years. And the only way to give a higher sentence than that is if there are so-called aggravating factors.
The aggravating factors, a few of them are present in this case. One of them is whether children were present for the crime. Another is whether the defendant was in a position of authority and abused that authority. A third relevant one is whether the victim was in a vulnerable position.
Now, we should note that Chauvin waived his right to have a jury look at those factors, so it's going to be up to the judge, Peter Cahill. Last important factor, our experts tell us that under Minnesota law, 2/3 of a sentence is served in prison, the rest under supervised release.
The judge, of course, could impose a higher sentence than the guidelines suggest, but he can't change that 2/3 rule.
With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
And you may remember 3 other former police officers are also charged in George Floyd's death. So what happens to them? Tao To, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander Ewing are all facing charges of aiding and abetting Derrick Chauvin. On May 20th, the Minnesota Court of Appeals will hear from the Minnesota Attorney General's office about adding third-degree murder charges for all 3 men. They are currently scheduled to go on trial starting in August. As of right now, all 3 are facing more than 16 years in prison.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The Justice Department opens a civil investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department after Derrick Chauvin was convicted on all 3 counts in the death of George Floyd. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced today the probe will examine whether the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing, as well as a comprehensive review of its policies, training, supervision, and use of force investigations. Ohio police released body camera footage Tuesday, just hours after a black teenager in the city was shot and killed by police. Columbus police say they were responding to a 911 caller who said someone was trying to stab them. Police say 16-year-old Micaiah Bryant was trying to stab 2 people with a knife. Bryant falls to the ground after an officer fires their gun. The teen later died at the hospital. And a popular brand of gummy vitamins is recalled because they may contain metal mesh. The FDA says Church & Dwight Company Incorporated is recalling several varieties of its VitaFusion gummy vitamin products. The company says ingesting a metallic material could lead to damage to the digestive tract. So far, it is not aware of any illnesses, but consumers are urged to stop using the recalled gummies immediately.
You know, I can tell you firsthand, just by when I stepped out, the air, you kind of feel that dry air. You can tell that it's starting to cool down, and we are going to drop way down. In fact, we'll be close to record lows, possibly for 2 days straight in the morning hours. You're going to notice huge differences in temperatures. And you see the temperature now. Look at Boone. Now, we always, of course, Boone is cooler than we are, but not by this much usually. 21 degrees cooler plus. When you look at it, 60 in the Triad, but it's 39 in Boone. So that cold air is starting to move in. Also, a little bit breezy today. Maximum wind gusts so far up to 37 miles per hour. That is a windy day. Now, satellite and radar show fairly clear skies. We got kind of a mixed bag here with sky conditions, but that cold air is definitely back behind it. I mean, you look at this and you can see that we're talking about temperatures below the freezing mark, with the record temperature being at 31, and we're calling for 33 for the overnight low. You see that 33 and 30 there for Friday morning. So some of the coldest nights that we've seen in a long time will be tonight, and yes, definitely close to record-breaking overnight lows. That's interesting. Clear and windy with 33, that overnight low tonight. The high tomorrow with maybe some morning frost. We do see that frost warning out there, and a high of 59. We'll take a look at our 7-day forecast coming up. Hello, folks. You can't see me because I'm buried in the back of the building working on the next weather graphic. I'll get out there in the weather
They
garden.
hid Chilton.
I
Who
know.
made that decision?
I'm hiding back here. Let's see.
Oh, this is on your own accord?
Let me get back out now so you can see. I don't know what, oh, well, our director Brad has the studio camera up. There we go.
Oh, there he is.
We always fight the battle here with direct sun, because if you're in direct sun, it's like boom. And when
No,
you're in
your lighting looks good, Chilton.
we look good right now. The
You
clouds
look
are.
good. You look good.
No, not me. The light condition, for goodness sake. Oh, see, here we go.
There you go.
Get me off of there.
How's everybody doing Wednesday?
Yeah.
The 21st of April. April is like almost over.
Yeah.
It was insane, and we're
9
talking 30s for overnight
days.
lows. Please.
It's been a while since we've chatted with Facebook.
Yes. I missed you guys. Chilton, you're logged in on your Facebook here, so I'm just going to hop on over.
Yeah, that's fine. It's there.
I'm on Chilton's Facebook page. What should I do, everyone? What should I do?
Do not sabotage me.
What? I have so much power. I got the power.
Got the power. Tim Buckley's back here. He's hiding too.
I see him working on his computer right
Yes,
here.
he is. He's that way. You can't see him.
Oh, 30 seconds out. I have a cool story coming up, so stick around. Let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, let me...
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. All right, I want you to take a look at these clothes. North Carolina designer Leanna Echeverry made these garments entirely out of other clothes that she found at a thrift store. So go ahead and take a closer look. She upcycles and repurposes items, and she finds them at secondhand stores and turns them into brand new ensembles. This all started when she was growing up. She says her mom and grandma would take her thrift shopping, but it became a way to sustainably create fashion and help the environment. So now she's teaming up with Goodwill Industries just in time for Earth Day to promote reducing, reusing, and recycling clothes.
I don't know on what level people understand. Like, you can take a deep dive with what happens when you're producing, say, cotton, for instance. Even just producing cotton to create it and make fibers to turn it into fabric, is they use a lot of really toxic things, and all that stuff ends up in our environment.
According to a 2020 Fashion on Climate report, the industry produced more than 2 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions 2 years ago. That's about 4% of the global total. Sarah Butner with Goodwill says small changes like buying secondhand can make a big difference.
And you can make such a big impact with making relatively small changes. We talk about the resources that are used to make something new, but we also don't think about the packaging and the shipping that's involved in the resources that are consumed with that when you're purchasing something new.
So many small changes that really can add up to make a big difference, but I'm blown away by her designs. I mean, all items that she just goes and thrifts and then creates these very high fashion looks.
Yeah, those outfits are bomb, by the way. And I can't, you know, the number of times I've looked in my closet and I'm like, I have nothing to wear. So to know that you could take clothes you already have, or maybe even going to a thrift store and creating something new is fascinating to me. I don't have the skills to do that, but props to her.
To me, it's every time we talk about, you know, greenhouse gases and Earth Day and all of that, it makes me realize, it almost makes me a little sad about how it has taken us so long to realize what we need to be doing to make things better. And I think about when I grew up, nobody thought about that, and they should have. And now that, thank goodness, we're at least bringing awareness to it at this point.
And you're right, Chilton. And another great point that was made was, it was mentioned how the packaging is actually probably the more wasteful part of the entire outfit. You know, when you're getting things shipped like we are now, because you can't go to the store, or you couldn't all of last year. You got boxes, you got plastic wrap, you got bubble wrap, you got all type of things that are going into the environment that are causing issues. And so I'm glad to see someone taking two skills, because thrifting is a skill itself, as well as clothes design, put them together and saving the planet as well.
Something else that I love that Leanna said was just how clothes aren't made like they once were. They're kind of made cheap and to wear a few times and then throw out. And so when she goes in, she's finding some good quality pieces and then just transforming them into something else that someone would want to wear today, maybe if it's out of style or it's been used a little bit too much. But she says she goes into thrift stores like Goodwill with no agenda. She just sees what speaks to her and then creates.
Wow.
It's a true talent.
She is very talented.
Maddie, do you thrift? I've tried, and I'm not that good at it.
I do some thrifting. I'm not very good at it, but I'll find a few good things here and there.
Yeah, I've thrifted and bought like jeans, old jeans, and cut them into shorts. So that's something you can
look
do
at
too.
you.
Look at you,
Creative.
doing
A
better
little
than
skill,
me.
but I can't do all that.
Makes me want to get out my sewing machine.
Uh-oh.
I can sew a little bit. Thanks, Granny. Just a little bit. All right, we are live on Facebook. Chat with us today. We want to hear what you have to say. Even you, Jalen.
They always want to hear what I got to say.
Hear everyone's sewing skills. Jilton, I bet you can sew. I bet your mom taught you a little bit.
Yeah, he's got real soft hands.
Not one thing.
Not a button? A bouton?
I can't know. I actually had to get Lauren Melvin, who used to work here one time. I had a button come off a suit. She goes, give me that, I'll fix it.
Listen, did you know I inherited her desk? And
Oh, you did?
She left a lot of like safety pins and needles and thread in there, so that makes sense. I mean, we overlapped a little bit, but yeah, when she said goodbye, I inherited the Lauren Melvin sewing supplies,
kit.
which I appreciated. Bobby Odom says I look like Belinda Carlisle, the young 80s version. In the video, Our
the
Lips
Go-Go's.
Are Sealed.
Our lips are sealed.
Now, does Brenda Carlisle sing,
I'm mad about you.
what else did she sing?
That was, I can't think. Now you're making me Google.
Hold on. Hold on.
Well, yeah, she's the lead singer of the Go-Go's, but she had a solo career too.
I can see it. Look at this
Our
picture.
Lips Are
Our Lips Are
Heaven
Sealed.
is a Place on Earth.
That's
Yes,
it.
now I love that song.
Yep, that was her solo, two solo
Do
songs.
I look like her?
I can see a small
Bobby Odom thinks I
resemblance.
do. I wish I had this hair. That volume.
A force.
Okay,
80s
well,
hair
I'll
was a
take that as a
force.
compliment. Jilton, you have a lot of volume in your hair.
I do, especially back in the years. You show that magnet at some point, Maddie.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Right now I'm just commenting as you on your Facebook account. So if you see Chilton on the live stream, it's me.
Eric showed me a picture yesterday from his first year out of college.
If you've gone through huge changes in your life, you know big changes rarely come at once. A lot of times it takes plenty of small changes to get you on a different path, Maddie.
So today on U Day, Coach Lamont shares some insight on how the little things can create the biggest distractions.
There was a young man who worked daily in his garden in hopes of producing much fruit. He did everything he learned from his neighbor who was a more experienced gardener. He prepped the soil, planted the best seed, and made sure it had enough sunlight and water. He waited patiently for the fruit to begin to grow and soon saw the fruit of his labor. Slowly but surely, his work began to bloom. Well, one day he went out to inspect his fruit and discovered it had all disappeared. The young man was disheartened by what he just saw, and he sought out the advice of his more experienced neighbor. And his neighbor told him this: "You failed to take the necessary measures to protect your garden. It was the little foxes that spoiled your vine." Be aware of the little things that come to throw you off course and destroy everything that you're working on. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I tell you, you look at temperatures that we have tonight, and you're almost shocked because you're thinking, you got to be kidding me. Here we are almost to the end of April, the beginning of May, and we're looking at 30s for overnight lows. For 2 nights in a row, we will flirt with record overnight lows. And the purple color here means a freeze warning. That's pretty much our entire viewing area under that effect tonight. And you look at the systems, we've been windy today. We're between the low pressure to the northeast, the high back to the west. All that wind funnels down. We're seeing wind gusts close to 40 miles per hour in the triad. 37 to be exact was the maximum wind gust for us today. With that high pressure right over us, again, we stay kind of under the bubble of high pressure and we get really chilly. Overnight lows tonight and tomorrow night, low 30s. We'll be within 2 or 3 degrees of record overnight lows. Things will change. We'll start to warm up a little bit long range in the forecast, but in the short term, we got to watch this. And when you look at the days and how we stair step it back up here as you go toward the middle of next week, we get warm again, but it takes a while, doesn't it? Morning frost and freeze, it's a possibility Thursday and Friday. Mostly sunny skies. Highs 59 tomorrow, 65 on Friday. Low 60s on Saturday, and we have a chance of late day rain, 80% chance of rain. Then Sunday, gradual clearing, 69. Next week is really nice. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sunny to partly cloudy, low to mid 70s on Monday, Tuesday, and close to 80 degrees by Wednesday of next week.
There we go. We're talking about thrift shopping, Facebook. It's called, it's in Charlotte. I'll look up the name. But they have great stuff. It's like, you have to go thrift shop in the fancy part of town. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's
Bougie thrifting.
You can find, Calvin Klein dress with the tag still on it. I like finding blazers from thrift stores.
That's smart. I love that blazers are coming back in style.
Yeah. And then there's just cool vintage purses and different things like that, but you can find some gems in the thrift store for sure.
As long as blazers don't come back with shoulder pads, we'll be okay.
Listen, I have a couple of things with shoulder pads.
No.
I do.
I didn't know that was the thing.
Why'd you sound so sad, Eric?
What'd you say, Jayla?
I said, why'd you sound so sad?
Actually, the dress I wore on the first day of the show had shoulder pads in it.
It did.
Well, there's shoulder pads
that.
now. Then there's 80s shoulder pads.
Fair.
Right. Yeah, you look like an upside down triangle.
My shoulders are kind of broad, so.
My producer just told me that dress made me look like an NFL linebacker.
He's trying to clear it up.
He said 80
but I'm
shoulder
letting
pads.
you know. He's trying to clear it
Matt.
up, but that is what he said.
Now he's backtracking,
That's what
everyone.
he said.
He's backtracking
He's
in my
upset.
ear. Brad, what did, there
look
he
at
is.
him. There he is.
Put the spotlight on him. Put the spotlight on Matt. Yes. Open up that iris. Let's
Poor Matt.
turn up
We need
the
a
brightness.
microphone for Matt to defend himself.
No. This is my story. This is my version of the story. Go, Matt.
Did Brad bring you a mic for real?
No, he turned the lights on.
Well,
okay,
fine.
but do you want to tell me where I'm standing? Because, sorry.
He's not
He told me
tell
to
you.
figure it out myself. Sorry, Matt. You have to be nice to the producer because they can ruin your life.
That's true.
In the year 2021, it is probably easier to answer what smartphones can't do. Not only are they phones, but we can also use them for credit cards, plane boarding passes, and now maybe even driver's licenses. Currently, the state of Texas is reviewing a bill that would allow the State Department of Public Safety to create a program that can legally hold your driver's license information. And they're not the only state to do this. Back in 2018, the state of Louisiana created an app that holds digital IDs through the state. So this is something North Carolina should consider. What do you think? I vote yes, and I'll tell you why. Because today I got to work and I realized that the contents of my wallet had spilled out in my other purse. So I go to open my wallet and I don't have anything inside.
I mean, we're taking half steps there, don't you think? Like with Google Pay and Apple Pay, we're doing debit cards, credit cards that way. I don't see why we couldn't do a driver's license.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm all for it too. Same thing happened to me, except I left my wallet at home yesterday, but I had my phone always have
Yeah.
my phone.
Oh, always have your phone.
So this would be really helpful. And something else that's really cool about this, as I was reading more about it, is you use your phone to maybe go to a restaurant to get a drink or something. They were saying like you can choose what people see. So when you go to a bar, they don't need to know where you live, like your address, but you can just choose, this is my age. So I think that that's pretty cool too.
I like that a lot.
That
Especially if you lost your wallet. I mean, all that information is open to anyone who finds your ID, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I know the phones, like we said, can do pretty much everything. You already got your insurance card on there. It's an encyclopedia. You can make a reservation. You can do whatever you want to do on the phone. So I don't understand why it's a problem to have the ID on the phone as well. So let's make it happen. It would make everything more convenient in one place. And the phone's our lifeline now anyway, so might as well just make it even more so.
The one thing about this though is if you get pulled over, you go out with your friends to a restaurant, your phone needs to be charged.
Oh yeah.
And you have to have good cell service. So there's that.
Okay, I like that as well. Maybe we shouldn't phase out that physical ID, but have the option to have the electronic ID on the phone as well.
Introduce it.
Yeah.
I would say my phone is charged more often than I have my wallet with me.
That is a fact.
That's true.
It's a problem. We'll be right back.
Am I up?
Matt has a microphone.
Hello, Maddie.
Stop. Someone mic'd up Matt. This is our producer.
Sorry, the yard.
I brought down my mic.
What is that noise? Are you outside?
Guy. No, now he stopped. There he goes. There we go. Maybe I should go out there and interview him. I don't even know if I can say
Sorry,
it.
I had to do producer stuff back here, but now we're back on the mic to defend myself against Maddie.
Okay, so what did you say made me look like an NFL linebacker, Matt?
I said like 80s shoulder pads looked like that. Not that your shoulder pads on your first day. I don't even know what you wore on your first day. I wasn't working here yet, Maddie.
Well, I took it one way. I got a call. Sorry.
You were putting words into my mouth to our Facebook viewers, and I don't appreciate it.
Listen,
30 out.
it's all about being the first on the story. And there I was. No, I forgive you. I forgive you, Matt.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm going to apologize now because the yard crew is out here. So if you hear the guy with the weed trimmer, I'm so sorry. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Maddie Gardner, Lauren Coleman, Jalen Gilkey. We'll cut my mic really quickly. Here they come.
I thought it was you, Eric. I thought you were out there doing some yard work. Thank you so
Sound like
much.
his stomach.
For
Ooh.
That's true.
Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday. If you didn't know, we stream the entire 4 to 5 live on Facebook. So head on over to the WFMY News 2 page and chat with us. Yes, we chat with you during the commercial breaks as well, and it is where we have the most fun.
Yeah, come join us. We're waiting for you. Well, we have some big news today as more people get vaccinated in North Carolina. We could see even more restrictions lifted soon. Earlier today, Governor Cooper and the state's COVID-19 task force announced they anticipate all COVID restrictions could be lifted by June 1st if enough people are vaccinated. Cooper says the possible decision is because of our state's vaccination efforts. As of right now, about 1/3 of adults are fully vaccinated and about 50% have at least one shot of the vaccine. While the numbers are encouraging, Cooper knows that isn't a sign to relax all restrictions yet.
Although we're making progress, we haven't beaten COVID-19 yet, and the virus will still be with us even after June the 1st. So we need to keep being responsible. We need to keep wearing masks. We need to get more people vaccinated. And we need businesses to keep paying attention to current executive orders and future health recommendations.
The encouraging news from the governor comes as hospitalizations in our state slowly tick up. The state says 1,168 North Carolinians are now in the hospital with the virus. It is basically the same number as yesterday, but it is higher than the past several days. You can probably see the slight upward trend lately. 10 days ago, we were at 945 people. Today's number is 223 higher than that. Just 2 weeks before that, we were at 859. That was the lowest number we've seen since mid-September.
Will the COVID vaccine only last for 6 months? It's just one of the newest claims we've seen online. And it's concerning because that could mean we need more shots twice a year. That's why our Verified team took a look at the claim to get you the truth.
We brought that question to our experts, our two favorite Williams, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases professor at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and Dr. William Moss, the executive director of the International Vaccine Access Center at Johns Hopkins. So what's up with this 6-month stat? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Our experts explain that that's roughly how long it's been since those very first patients got a dose.
The clock is ticking. We're measuring it. We can't tell you any longer than that because we've only used the vaccines for 6 months. So hold on. We all think that these vaccines last, given their protection, last longer than 6 months. But we'll tell you that as we continue to measure the duration of protection.
The other William agrees.
And that's why it's important, for example, that the phase 3 trial actually be allowed to continue the initial phase 3 trial, the follow-up of those individuals out 2 or 3 years to look at the duration of protection. So I think whenever they say, like, you know, the duration of protections they'll say at least 3 months or at least 6 months, because basically that's just how much time we've had.
The CDC also says that at this point, they don't know how long protection lasts. So we could verify that no. Our experts say it's not that the COVID vaccines will only work for 6 months. What can be said is that they're effective for at least 6 months because that's the data we have. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Coming up this weekend, the Community Theater of Greensboro is finally getting back to performing. The group is hosting their first ever production completely outside at LeBauer Park. They'll be performing an interactive mystery play called Mayhem at the Masquerade for anyone who is 21 years old or older. Executive Director Rosalind Fulton says the pandemic forced them to come up with new ways to put on performances that they never thought about before.
It's very interactive. So throughout the park, we have the entire lawn area taped out. So you will get a chance to ask questions to the cast members. You will get a chance to hear their stories of why they are attending the party, what their intentions are of being at the party. So it is a chance to really get in depth, ask those questions.
Well, masks are required for anyone who wants to attend. Shows are tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, and they start at 6:30 p.m.
Well, let's get to some of your headlines with your 4 to 5 roundup. Wake Forest University announced Tuesday it intends to require all students enrolled in the fall to be fully vaccinated. The university is asking students to provide documentation of their COVID vaccine by July 1st. All students are encouraged to get vaccinated as soon as possible. The school says students who have been infected do not need to wait 90 days to get vaccinated and should do so as soon as they are released from isolation. For more details, visit our website. And the White House is offering businesses a tax incentive to give employees paid leave to get vaccinated. This comes as the U.S. is set to meet President Joe Biden's goal of administering 200 million coronavirus doses in his first 100 days in office. As the vaccination program progresses, the administration believes it will only get more difficult to sustain the current pace of about 3 million shots a day. About 130 million Americans have yet to receive one dose. Democrats unveil a plan that would make college tuition free for many U.S. families. If passed, the College for All Act would make community colleges and trade schools tuition free. It would also make public four-year colleges and universities and historically black colleges and universities tuition free for students from families earning less than $125,000 a year.
All right, we got to talk about this frost tonight because we do see that freeze warning in effect for the entire viewing area. So what about protecting the plants? Sometimes we need to go over this. Some of it intuitive, some maybe not. Water your plants during the day. Obviously, you don't want to do it at night. At night, you do want to cover them, but don't make the mistake that some people put plastic or a tarp over them. That is the opposite of what you need to do. You have something that can breathe, a little bit of cotton fabric, a sheet, an old sheet, that type of thing. And then make sure you take that fabric off after sunrise to let some of that warmth come back. And we will bounce back, by the way, when it comes to daytime highs tomorrow. So we go from that overnight low of 33, and by the way, record lows this time of the year around 30, 31. So we're within a few degrees of that, not only tomorrow morning, but again on Friday morning. Also, same situation. We'll bounce back to about 59 by tomorrow afternoon, and we will see plenty of sunshine. So kind of a mixed bag of clouds. You see the sun peeking in and out of the clouds right now. The wide shot shows that as well. But again, don't forget that warning is in effect for the entire viewing area. It will be windy too today. We'll see those winds relax a little bit in the next day or so, but we've had wind gusts up to 37 miles per hour today. Tomorrow, sunny, 59, 65 on Friday and sunshine. We're still in the 60s, a little rain Saturday afternoon and evening. Next week, looking pretty good there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Low 70s Monday. We've got mid 70s by Tuesday, and there's a chance the southern Piedmont could see an 80-degree high temperature by Wednesday. Think about that. In 1 week's time, we'll go from lows in the 30s to highs close to 80 degrees.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, according to Google Trends, searches for beauty tips and how to look your best virtually have skyrocketed. One local eye doctor's side hustle has now turned into a big business. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey has more.
Dr. Anika Goodwin-Hildebrand is the founder of Opulence MD Beauty. This ophthalmologist turned beauty brand boss has taken what she thought was just a side hustle and turned it into one of the fastest growing beauty brands in the country.
Did I ever imagine it would be this big? I absolutely didn't.
Dr. Anika Goodwin-Hildebrand launched Opulence MD Beauty in February of 2020, not knowing what the year had in store. Opulence MD Beauty specializes in their magnetic eyelash extensions, but have all kinds of eye health and beauty products.
When I launched to 5-figure sales, and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. And then it became a situation where those people told other people, and I got to my first 6-figure month about 4 months after I launched.
As many businesses struggled due to the coronavirus pandemic, Dr. Anika and Opulence MD Beauty flourished. So much so, she got a call from one of her favorite entrepreneurship shows.
I got a call from one of those entrepreneurship shows about my brand, and I honestly believe some of that had to do with the higher mission, and I was ecstatic when I got the call.
After Dr. Anika left California for filming, the Opulence MD brand was $100K richer.
It was surreal. I didn't realize how anxious I was, how many nerves there were until I walked off the stage. I think that I was nervous walking in. I got there and I was a little more at ease. They weren't quite as sharky, if you will, as I thought they would be.
Like I mentioned in the story, her biggest seller are the magnetic eyelashes, one of the most popular trends in the beauty world right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have tried to wear magnetic eyelashes and somehow they always get like a little wonky over here. So maybe I need to try Dr. Hanika's.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the magnetic lashes. So I started wearing the strips with the glue maybe about a year ago. And one thing I noticed was my lashes, my natural lashes started thinning with the glue. And then it would be hard to wash my eyes and get it out. But with the magnetic lashes, it goes straight on, they come right off, and you don't have to worry about scrubbing to get all that glue out. And my lashes did not thin. So I go back and forth between the two, but I like the magnetic.
So if I walk up with a big magnet, the lashes just go, shoom, just pop right off, right on the magnet, walk away. I'll tell you that, hey, Jalen, I will say this. I think, even though I know she didn't know a pandemic was coming up 6 weeks after she launches her business,
right.
But I think it was good timing because people started, you weren't focused on things outside. They were kind of nesting, they were taking care of their home, taking care of their own beauty products and that type of thing. I think she actually had perfect timing.
You're absolutely right. And Dr. Anika mentioned that, what turned out to be a pandemic for the entire world turned out to be great timing for her to start her business. And like you were saying, people are looking at themselves more. They're looking at social, they're looking at the phone, they're on Zoom, and they can see what they look like all the time. And, not worried about the outside world, because you couldn't go outside, but worried about yourself and your appearance, took her business to the moon.
There's also something comforting knowing that she specializes in your eyeballs. So she's not going to put anything near them that will hurt you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing because there's so many products out there that some that can make you break out or get little bumps around your eyes. So I love that she knows the research and what is healthy for us to put on our eyes.
Cool stuff. All right, the Fortified's heading to break. We are live on Facebook. We are chatting with you there. So come on over. We'd love to say hello. Come on. No, really, come on.
Yeah, Facebook. It's where the cool kids are.
Hi, peoples. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Hello, Facebook friends.
Tanya Rivera has entered the studio.
Right. Everyone genuflect. That's an SAT word.
Okay, we don't need this one.
I'm coming in the studio.
Thank you.
We do need this one. We'll stand on either side. Do you have a Wii that I can use, friend?
We do.
On video.
I'm just so glad you gave Matt a microphone. But Matt, whatever you do, never let Brad Lowry have that.
You're gonna be on this other side, friend. Let's see.
Say that again, Chauvin.
Oh no!
Okay.
Please turn that off.
People at home, we apologize ahead of time.
Did Brad get a microphone?
I can feel just the ridiculousness. It's
It's
brewing.
going to look like you posted my story on the website.
Ross, TJ Maxx, Burlington.
It's going to look like you because I'm just
I like to look there first.
You're going to get so much credit. I have 2 web stories
Those Dillard's
today.
dresses will eventually.
You can put your name there.
Yeah, I can.
I like to
but it
look
will
at the
say
Dillard's
you
dresses,
did.
but I am
Really?
not.
Yeah. It'll just say like edited
Unless
last
it's
by
like
I see.
emergency, I need a specific color or something. But
Give me some cred. I need it.
I don't usually pay more than, I don't think, $40
Same.
for a dress.
I think like 40 is a good.
Or like I can't hear them.
No need for that.
Matt, we can hear you.
I know you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, the world can hear you, Matt. So let's.
I think so. I think
I mean, we
a
can't
tall
touch
person, a
hands
6.
even if we do
Yeah,
that,
I think
so.
a 6-foot person.
Or
could
what,
fit in between
Jalen?
them.
Hey, look, man, I'm just letting you
So
know.
nobody gives us
We
the
need to hear
I don't like this grammar.
from Matt. Hear his life story.
When your ceiling is dripping, that is a problem. You've got flooded floors, that leads to mold and all kinds of other issues.
If this right here is where you live, you're looking at a whole lot of damage, not just to the building, but to your stuff too.
Yeah, when I look at that, I hope they have some insurance. So
Oh, yeah.
I just moved to the area. I made sure I had my renter's insurance. My apartment made me have renter's insurance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's smart. I have not heard that before. And it's a really good move because without renter's insurance, the person living in this spot right here would be paying for all of their stuff because it is not the landlord's responsibility.
Renter's insurance is fairly standardized, although coverage can vary depending on your insurer and where you live. Bottom line, make sure you understand your policy, what's covered and what's not.
All right, so check out the help that renter's insurance can provide. Renter's insurance can cover the damage of theft or the damage of your belongings. It can cover the cost of a hotel room if you need to move out while your home is being worked on due to fire or flood or whatever has happened. It can also cover some of your possessions when you're not at home, like if something got stolen out of your car. That's a renter's insurance claim. That's not an auto insurance claim.
You don't know when you're gonna need it until you need it, and then once you need it, then you're like glad that you have it.
Yeah, she said it great, right? You're glad that you have it. Amani is the one who had the water raining from her ceiling. She had renter's insurance. Her policy only cost her $20 a month, and I gotta tell you, it was money well spent because they're covered a whole lot, from living in a hotel room for weeks to replacing her possessions. Which brings me to this reminder: everyone, renters or homeowners, need to do a home inventory.
It doesn't have to be complicated. You can even use the camera on your phone.
That's right. So open up your closets, your cabinets, your drawers, walk around your home and describe everything you would want to replace if there was a fire or a tornado or a flood or whatever. It's easier to reference this video than trying to remember every single thing you own.
Am I here?
Some Christmas music? Interesting choice. I do love Christmas.
Yeah, Brad, this is a curveball here.
I love Christmas music. I love Christmas in general.
Okay. You mean after?
We're almost done, y'all.
You mean after
Goodness
the
gracious,
prods?
what happened to the day?
What are you talking about? Let me look.
Jalen, how you feeling?
I'm hanging. I'm doing all right. I'm super hydrated. I just filled my little Yeti, fake Yeti, up for the second time. So this makes about 5 bottles of water and 2 body armors since I've gotten my second shot.
I don't know what
I get to weather garden.
body armor is.
I guess during the package, maybe?
I got to read the
What's up, man?
prods.
Yeah, he's gonna have to change.
Hanging in there, buddy.
Oh, Mr.
You
Matt.
doing all right? It's always
Messed up.
something. man.
So I'm doing my
Always,
prods.
right
and then
around
you
5
want me
o'clock.
outside
Always.
for chat? Sorry, my prods. Then you want me outside for chat after the prods? I may have to just like walk into the chroma key shop then, because I got to read the prods. Jeff, Brad wants to know what you're doing.
He's fixing a light. A light went
He
out.
said it's a secret.
A light is
Oh, I
always
didn't know. I
going
wasn't
out.
supposed to tell Brad. I'm sorry.
Wanda says,
Brad.
dance
Bald
Eric.
eagle.
Do it, Matt. Do it.
Maddie, can we get in touch? Oh,
Nice.
Jalen, people on Facebook want to know where they can get in touch with your doctor from your story.
Oh, y'all can go to Opulence MD on Facebook. That'd be a great place to start. Or on Instagram. They also have a website, opulusmdbeauty.com. So if you'd like
Thank
to,
you, Jalen.
there you go. Go get some magnetic strips.
Hi, James.
Oh, come on, Brad. Why you doing me like that?
I like the little dance you guys did. That was nice.
Yeah, y'all are looking cute
Brad,
in
Matt,
there.
take it on the
Little
road.
bromance going on.
Sorry, no
Hey,
samples for the
Jalen,
ladies.
we want to know, the ladies of WFMY want to know, did you have any samples for us with those magnetic lashes?
Unfortunately, I do not have any.
You are a
Kept him for
disappointment.
himself.
When Julie Luck calls you a
Jesus.
disappointment.
That was
Well, it's that time of the year when kids are hunting for that summer job. Thousands of Triad teens will be looking all over the Piedmont, but one organization said, you know what, we're going to make it easy for you. I spoke with Russell Dye of Triad Goodwill about their youth summer job fair. Take a look. Russell, I know I have 4 kids, and this is the time of year that everybody's asking, you know, we got to get that summer job. Let me ask you this before we talk about the event. Is it too late to try to round up that summer job? Is it harder if you waited this late?
No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we encourage individuals to register. If you are a youth between the ages of 16 and 24, we encourage you to register up until noon on the day of the event. So the event happens Wednesday, April the 21st at 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. So we try to do everything we could to make those hours conducive to your schedule and to your child's schedule if you're a parent or guardian or someone who is trying to help a youth make this event.
So let's talk about this. I mean, obviously this is a virtual event and we've been in virtual land for more than a year now. Success ratio pretty good. If kids want to jump in that way, does it matter that you're not in person?
No, as a matter of fact, it doesn't. And I think with the collaboration that we've had from the Plus One Committee, which is comprised of Goodwill Industries of Central North Carolina, which is my organization, and of course, the City of Greensboro, NC Works, the Next Gen organization, and the United Way. And so we have made it very easy for individuals to access the event from this virtual platform, whereby we're cutting out the middleman and getting you right in front of the employers and the decision makers. And we have over 200 opportunities represented on tomorrow. So we're excited about that.
And it's completely possible for somebody to be hired on the spot, isn't it, from their own home?
Well, quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly. As a matter of fact, all the conversations that I've had with employers has been that we have an immediate and an urgent need. So let's get in front of some people if we possibly can.
This is awesome, Russell. Thank you so much. Good luck with this event. I'm sure you'll be swamped. We've got to get those teens out there finding jobs.
Absolutely. I hope we make an impact on the community.
And it made me think about everybody's first job. Do you remember the first job you ever had, no matter how old you were? Yeah, Brenda says, I was a cashier and a checker at Winn-Dixie, but of course I babysat for years before I could officially work. Mark said working in a grocery store bagging, but then, back then, you took them to the person's car for them. Very nice. Del Vogler says long distance operator at Southern Bell, long since gone. Kevin says Hallmark, and yes, I am an expert gift wrapper as a result. Candace Lee Phillips said I worked for Southern Alamance High typing, yes, literally typing up class schedules for every single student for the upcoming school year. And Scott Lynch said working in a Wilson County tobacco field at 15 years old. I have heard that from a lot of folks over the years back in the day, working in the tobacco fields. And you know what? They would let them work when they probably shouldn't have been. They were child labor laws. Oh, let him work. Let him work. That's what they did.
Speaking of labor laws, my first job was at a makeup store on Main Street, Mount Airy, Merle Norman, but I was too young to technically work there, so I made my mom drive me to Dobson, which is the county seat in Surrey County, so I could get a special work permit so I could work. I think I was 13, but I wanted to save money to buy a Palm Pilot.
My first job was working at a t-shirt shop.
No.
At Johnny T-Shirt, Maddie.
No way.
On Franklin Street in Chapel Hill, yes.
Did you print them or sell them?
I hand made the silk screen t-shirts back then. They had I was literally a one-man band down in a basement working on those t-shirts all the time.
So when do we get our special 4 to 5 t-shirts?
Oh, I'll get started working on that.
Thank you.
Tonight.
What was your first job, Lauren?
My first job was working at a shoe store at the outlet mall at Potomac Mills. And ever since that experience, I just have so much respect for people who work at shoe stores, because when you try on your shoes, sometimes you just see shoes everywhere. And I used to have to straighten all the boxes up after people. So now when I go into a shoe store, I make sure I put everything back in place and tucked away neatly since that experience.
I'm gonna be honest, my first job was so much fun. I worked at Foot Locker as a sales associate.
Oh, that's fun.
I came home from college and it was my first job. That's what I did for the entire summer. Just got to meet so many people, and it was so funny seeing my friends. They were coming in, messing with me. It was just a great time.
And you got to wear the cool referee outfit.
That's right.
I just got rid of my shirts last year. I still have my name tags, everything.
So if we go thrifting, we can find your shirt.
It's a possibility. I did give them to Goodwill. There's a chance.
That's awesome. All right, let's talk about our forecast here and see what's going on. I thought this was Jalen's first job. Sorry. Here's what we have. with temperatures out there for tonight. We're looking at 33 degrees for the overnight low, 53 by midday, and then 59 your high temperature tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, but it is going to be cold, and we've mentioned this before, haven't we? But flirting with record lows. We're within 2 or 3 degrees of a record low, not only tonight, but tomorrow night as well. It's going to stay like that. Fairly clear right now. We have a few clouds here and there, not a huge deal. But you look at this long range forecast now, 7-day, you're looking at sunshine, but cold, 59 and 65 the next 2 days. Little rain Saturday, but we're back to the 60s as we head into Sunday. And next week, 70s and maybe an 80 by Wednesday with sunny to partly cloudy skies.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't stood over there yet, so.
So right here.
Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2.
Hi there, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska.
Greetings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They said, "Oh, thank you."
But they'll talk with us tonight.
Well, he said he may not talk
Okay.
with us tonight.
Well, whatever. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mic check 3, 2, 1. Mic check 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you can hear me. Mic check. Mic check.
It's time for my 2 cents. Today is my last day working from home. For those of you who don't know, I spend most of my day here at home, but then I come into the studio to anchor the newscast. I must say, I like working on my couch in comfy pants with a cup of coffee. I like that my pantry is just a few steps away. I like that my apartment has a lot of natural light and fewer people stare at me when I have my hourly dance break. I'd imagine a lot of you felt this way, maybe even still feel this way because you're working remotely. But it's not all fun and games. I miss my coworkers. It's harder to concentrate at times. It's more difficult to communicate with people through email and over the phone than just walking over and talking to them. And my pantry is a few steps away. It's going to be an adjustment after more than a year of being here, but I am ready to be back 100%. Many smart people have done studies about how working from home affects us, and most agree that mental and physical health suffer when we are at the home office. One theory is that we can never escape our job when there's not a physical separation between work and home. Others think not having the structure of a traditional workday is to blame, and some hypothesize that it's the lack of support from coworkers and managers that gets us down. Now, that's not to say it's all bad, but I'm ready to pack everything up and bring it back to the station full time. I also think this is just another sign that things are getting better and will continue to get better. We may never be back to normal, but I'll take one step closer. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Derrick Chauvin spent his first night in jail after a jury found him guilty of all 3 counts in the murder of George Floyd. The former officer now sits in a maximum security facility awaiting sentencing in 2 months.
The Department of Justice will be unwavering in its pursuit of equal justice under law.
A federal investigation is now underway looking at the Minneapolis Police Department and its policies. The Department of Justice says this is a way to address systemic issues the Chauvin criminal trial did not.
A day after the guilty verdicts came down, activists say their work is not done. Groups are getting ready to gather in Greensboro and Winston-Salem as they continue to push for change.
Following the guilty verdicts in the Derrick Chauvin trial, activists say police reform is the next step in preventing what happened to George Floyd.
Here in the Piedmont Triad, law enforcement agencies have made changes since Floyd's death. WFMY News 2's Adorius Chumba spoke with many law enforcement leaders about the specific changes.
That's right, and we are expecting a community rally here to begin right off of MLK Jr. Drive in Winston-Salem any minute now. You can see some of the preparations are already underway behind me. And yes, I did speak with Triad law enforcement agency leaders, and they say they too are making changes to policies in their offices and departments. Now, some of those changes include mental health and background checks, additional ones that is, for officers. And they also said excuses for not turning on body-worn cameras are no longer acceptable. In Alamance County, they're adding yellow tape to stun guns and will switch to all yellow ones later on this year. Now, Greensboro Police Chief says they will keep evaluating policies and procedures to ensure best and effective policing.
Our communities where we are seeing an abnormal amount of violence, and they certainly need us to do our jobs to go there to try to prevent and detect the crimes that are occurring. So I would say as long as you're within the bounds of your policy and your laws, you should be able to go out and confidently police, and we want our police officers to do that.
Policing's changing right in front of our eyes. If you're not seeing that as a law enforcement professional, you're probably missing the boat a little bit, or you're just not paying attention.
And the sheriffs of Guilford and Forsyth counties are amongst the earliest law enforcement leaders to react to the verdict. They say the verdict was the right one, and they too are making policy changes.
Every year, all of the men and women that work here, we do a background check on them as well as a license check to make sure that, one, their license is good, two, that they don't have any criminal activity. They've been arrested or charged or something.
One of the things that you cannot do is carry this badge gun and have the power of arrest and don't be transparent and be true to who you're supposed to be true to for the citizens that you serve.
Again, the community rally is to begin any minute now. You can see the organizers are still out here preparing. It is organized by the Black Lives Matter group of Winston-Salem, and they're calling this a safe space to react to the verdict.
Dory, thank you. Our team coverage continues tonight in Greensboro. WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty is live outside the International Civil Rights Center and Museum, where another group is gathering 24 hours after the guilty verdict.
Well, that's exactly right, Julie. People are gathering here in downtown Greensboro to celebrate the guilty verdict in the Derrick Chauvin trial. This point here, the International Civil Rights Center and Museum, was also a meeting point last year for hundreds of protesters who were demanding justice in the death of George Floyd. After nearly a year, many, including Ashley Gant and Mahogany Alston tell me they had an emotional reaction to yesterday's news. They say it's not justice, but it is a victory, a sign of progress and accountability.
I got a notification that the verdict was in, so I was waiting for the video to watch it live. And when it came in, I listened. I immediately started crying.
I've had so many cases where it's just been swept under the rug or no one has done anything, but to see like everybody coming together, even the judicial system, and bringing him, like convicting him, that is a really big deal because people turn their nose to it too often. And that's what makes it the norm, and it's totally not the norm at all.
Now, right now there's probably 12 or so people, but we are expecting that crowd to